and wealth of excellence on African vibes. Join me every Monday to Friday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. It is on Citizen FM 93.7
Abuja. Wake up. Reach out. Speak up. Speak out. You are the voice of a new generation. And this is your station. Talk Radio 93.7 Citizen FM. It has just begun. Check it out. Rescan your dial. Now.
You found it.
You found it. Citizen 93.7 FM. Abuja. We are the best of the best. To 93.7 Citizen FM. Based in Nigeria's capital. Your number one radio station. Touch the dial.
Citizens Tech Talk with Mena, bringing you news updates on digital technology around us, discussing the latest developments and how technology can enrich you and make your life more exciting. Citizens Tech Talk with Mena, welcome to our world of technology. Every Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 12. Citizens Tech Talk with Mena, expanding our global reach through technology.
Investigations, special reports, analysis, and breaking news. Premium Times, a leading multimedia news platform, brings to you every minute stories that helps you make informed decisions and hold public officials, individuals, and organizations accountable. We have cartoons, videos, podcasts, and other interesting content for your delight. For timely update on politics, entertainment, sport, and business, visit our website on www.premiumtimesng.com and follow us on all our social media platforms. Don't miss out.
We teach girls shave. Close your legs, cover yourself. We make them feel as though by being born female, they're already guilty of something.
So I think right now we have the chance to be heard, and that's why we're doing it. We're all doing it because we're asking to try and elicit change.
No woman should sit down and allow a man to speak about her reproductive rights.
But it is about opening spaces for other women and not to be seen as token, and that because I'm a woman, I'm only speaking about women at the table. No, I'm speaking about side of the table that is empty and that women have to be there. So
I want us to leave this world better than we found it. And how I choose to affect change is by speaking up, by being the first, and by being the dominant.
Over 4 billion of the world's population are girls and women, also faced with challenges that affect our world and contributing solutions to them. Let's have conversations and get some answers to them through their eyes and voices. Tune in to Perspectives, where we discuss important issues ranging from climate change, politics, health, the economy, and lifestyle on Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja. Weekdays from midday. Perspectives. Conversations that matter.
Hello, Abuja. You are listening to 93.7 Citizen FM, the latest radio station based in Nigeria's capital. Our station seeks to broadcast a broad mix of culture and views with priority given to development programming to enable residents share ideas and opinions, music and drama. At Citizen FM, we believe in progressive talk and solution-driven conversation. Our aim is to build a united Nigeria by bringing people of diverse culture together through communication. Enjoy listening to 93.7 Citizen FM. We are more than just a radio station. We are a part of your life. Make we join our hearts to build a nation of our dream. Citizen FM. Your problem is my problem and my joy is your joy. Citizen FM. Make we join our hearts to build a nation of our dream. Citizen FM. Yeah. Your problem is my problem and my joy is your joy. Epa!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Super Citizen at Sunset on Citizen FM 93.7. This is the fun-packed radio show you heard about. Did you miss any one of our programming today? Join me, Didi, from the Citizen Pot when we run through our programs from sunrise. Stay abreast, get informed on news roundup. It even gets better. Do you think you know Nigeria? Answer 3 questions correctly and be one of our daily winners on Quizzes. It is the full package. Let's take you back, way back on African Vibes. Let's celebrate the African people, the rich cultures across borders, the languages, the good food, and wealth of excellence on African Vibes. Join me every Monday to Friday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. It is on Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja.
Abuja. Wake up. Reach out. Speak up. Speak out. You are the voice of a new generation. And this is your station. Talk Radio 93.7 Citizen FM.
It's a lovely day to be listening to Citizen FM Abuja. All right, so I have in the studio with me a very strong woman. I'm so happy to have her here, Barrister Juliet Ikayere. She's a legal practitioner with a keen interest in policy and governance. She recently contested for a seat in the Federal House of Representatives to represent Buhari Amak constituency at the just concluded February 2023 presidential and National Assembly elections. So Barrister Juliet is here today to give us her expert opinion on the newly amended constitutions that were just assented by President Muhammadu Buhari. So there are 16 of them, and we are going to take a look at a few of them, a couple of them, break them down, and make sure that you understand them properly and what it means for us as a country moving forward. Good morning, Barrister Juliet. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
It's so nice to have you here.
I'm grateful.
Okay, so before I turned on the mic, Barrister Juliet and I were actually having a conversation about Nigerian politics, and so we were both saying, should it be like the way the Labour Party people did it? It's my party top to bottom, or should we vote people based on their own competence and candidacy? Okay, good morning, Barrister Juliet. What do you have to say about that? What's your honest opinion towards that? I know you were giving me a breakdown on your thoughts of that, so I put on the mic and said you must tell all of us.
All right, thank you. Actually, based on my experience and then a lot of research, I feel that Nigeria hasn't generally come to the understanding of what it means to vote based on a candidate across any party. Yes. And that's something that we need to actually build. Because that's the most important thing. Irrespective, we should not make people overflood a particular party, even when they are good, and then they end up mixing up with the people who will turn bad, and they will not be able to sieve the wheat from the chaff. And so if we understand that we now need to be very intentional about our candidates, we can now make a widespread of people-based election.
Yes.
People can come in from various parties. I'll use myself as an example. I came in from the ADC party. I was the only one of the youths running in FCT. But at the end of the day, Nigerians didn't even know. It was more of like a party wave that swept me off, and a lot of people in other states too can attest to this. And we did a very quality campaign. We went round to many of the public spaces where we can actually have a decent conversation, campaigns and all that. Most of the media went actually to those places, and at the end of the day, people were apologizing. Even on the election day, I got many apologies. We're so sorry, we did not want to make any mistake. So when you hear conversations like this, then you now know that it takes a lot of intentionality for the people to now know this is the candidate we want, not about the party. Just like when we identified a principal in person of Obi and termed it the Obi movement, we actually because of that, we made him, he actually left PDP and went to another party. Nobody crucified him and said, you are a PDP person, the stain on from PDP is on you, you're now coming to Labour, so you are coming to say you're purifying Labour. For me, I feel that we need to have this conversation, so a lot of people cannot become an Obi. Obi will not be the only one Messiah in Nigeria. There are also good people across, so we should not force them and tame them into a particular party, because they will not be different from APC and PDP, who actually want to front their party from top to bottom. So why would we blame them? So we start becoming who we want, who we say we should be, by voting in candidates across party lines. It will also enable it's also kill the monopoly of parties in Nigeria. The monopoly of party system. I saw something of one of the media aides of the president say Nigeria has 3-party system. Will we be able to sustain it? That's the question. A lot of countries have not been able to develop it. So some people, it seems impracticably impossible for Nigeria to sustain 3-party system. Now we have PDP, APC, and Labour. So now the question is, will we be able to sustain it? But I feel that we can be able to shut down the old order by telling those people that we know our candidates and we want to vote them irrespective of where they are. And to encourage more youth participation. It will encourage more people to now show their popularity, even in little parties that don't seem no. I think we will go from there, but it's possible, but for the intentionality and the knowledge.
You made a statement. You said that, see the northern electorate, they know their candidates. That's what you said. They know their candidates. And I had a guest in yesterday who is a journalist from Premium Times, Majid, actually. And Majid is always of the notion that, political parties, they have much more duties than they are currently doing. Because they are in this position to enlighten electorate. Generally. Like, that is one of he believes it should be one of their core duties pre-election. All the years building up to election, they should continue to enlighten electorate, and he has said that the burden lies on political parties to do that. Do you agree with that?
Very well, but the honest truth is that the candidates who even emerge in parties are not even party members from the start. They come even 2 months, 3 months, 1 month to the elections. So they are not even party members most of the time. That's why when they wanted, there was that issue between the direct primaries and indirect primaries, because they knew that a lot of people will influx party, and therefore the direct primary may work against those who have actually been building in their parties before the primaries. So there are so many issues with Nigeria elections. So if we put it on the political party, I don't know how far we will go to enlighten. Now, the electorate.
Now,
who are the electorates of the political parties? This already there's a divided frontier. There are people that only participate in election only during primaries. All they know is hijacking.
They for the money.
For the money. So they end up becoming thugs, vote buyers. They commit all sorts of crimes. So who are then the electorate? We need to have the space. That's why at the end of the day, a lot of conversations have been had about this. And then even when you start enlightening your people, though it will be more like you're enlightening them about your party. But if you're not saying enlightening them about the civic responsibility of every electorate, it will be difficult to actually get these members, because some people, like I said, they pot from parties, they defect from one party to the other party. There's no sustainability in party system in Nigeria. That's why I said even the candidates who even emerge as party primary ticket holders even come 1 month, 2 months to their primary. So even most of their electorates do not even know them. So this is the kind of thing we're facing. So it's later still now devolves back to the NOA, the National Orientation Agency, and a lot of stakeholders in the country can do these jobs. Political party, yes, they can do, but I'm only saying to what extent will they be able to achieve it? Yes, so they can now start promoting.
It's a collective responsibility.
Exactly. But now, no party will want to promote candidate base. They will want to promote a party base. So you see, that's where the selfish interest comes into play. So we'd have to look for a body that will not be biased.
Yes.
That will now be and then have that, and that's what a lot of media. That's why at the end of the day, it still falls back to media houses, civil societies. That's why at the end of the day, they have this job to do.
Yes, thank you so much for your input on that. We just deviated a little bit, but okay. As someone that contested for a seat in the Federal House of Representatives, did you have parts of the Constitution that you would have loved to put up for review yourself?
Yes,
you do. Okay, we'll get into some of that, but let's begin with the recently accepted bills by President Muhammadu Buhari. All right, there are some from number 1 till about number, I think 5. The bills seek to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to correct names of a few local government areas. What is that as a result of?
According to the beginning part of the Constitution, I'm saying section 7. That actually gives the local government as a third tier of government in Nigeria. Now, to rename, there are some certain things that actually are captured in section 9, section 9, subsection 1. To alter some of the sections in section 8, you have to actually go through the process of seeking I think is it 2/3 or 1/3 of the people in the State House of Assemblies to actually do certain things, and these are to result to boundaries, naming, and all. But it looks too little.
The names changed?
Now it could be as a result of. It could be that those stakeholders in those communities have become, maybe there's been a boundary, there's been a shift, and now it's time to actually say, okay, we want to come up with this new name. We want to actually be identified as these people, because
to clearly distinguish us.
Because till now, customary practices still rule strongly in Nigeria, as long as they are not repugnant to natural justice, equity, and good conscience. So the people still have their cultures. They still have what they would like to be called, the food they would like to eat. So culture still has a role to play in Nigerian laws and Nigerians constitution. So now to alter them, it actually needs the prerequisite of being passed from the houses, the state houses, and also the national house of the national assemblies, and all this. But my take is that it seems so minute for it to actually be an issue. So it's not time for. It's the only thing that one can say is that it's time to now remove this need to be amongst things that can usually be adjudicated, can actually be passed in the state assemblies, than taking it the rigorous process down to the National Assembly and then now assented by. I just feel it's a bit
ambiguous.
It's something. So there's some. These are some of the sections of the Constitution that need to even be amended in its own self. So now it's a requirement of the Constitution, but now some of those things that fall as a requirement needs to even be amended to now remove it from having to go through
these
all those
processes.
Exactly.
Because they look, like you said, very minute.
Yes. So, and distraction.
Exactly. So there were about, I think, 20 something or 30 something of these bills that were submitted.
Yes.
But only 16 made
yes.
it.
It's so sad. And one of that which was rejected was even the one that, for me, I've actually championed from the one I joined politics. I joined politics in 2021 at the age of 26, and I ran for the councillor of Kubwa Ward. I was so excited to run for that office. Yes, I was born here in the FCT and in Kubwa precisely, but I was excited because amongst all the local governments in Nigeria, among the 774, only one local government in Nigeria actually has the opportunity to conduct elections in a way as it should be, as normal elections in Nigeria, and that's the FCT. So for me, it was more of a learning curve and an experience. It was more of an experience sharing table for a lot of people to prepare for the 2023 elections. And I remember when we underwent that election in 2022, there were so many things I saw that even played out in this election. Now, how do I communicate this when people do not even understand? A lot of first-time voters came out in this election. And I'm happy they will not be, when we're talking now, they'll be able to understand. Now, there was a voting system. There was INEC in charge of the voting process. How many states in Nigeria can tell you in recent years that they've had an election conducted like what happened in February 25th and March 18th? It's usually not the issue. A lot of state governments clamp upon these elections, take charge of them, hijack it, and most times do not even conduct election. So now the people's will is not seen in the local governments. So now it also, as it showed itself now, these same state assemblies prevented the passing of the bills of the financial autonomy of the local government. So you see where we're coming out from now. So that's to show you that even when you even give the
financial
states
and legislative autonomy for local government.
Exactly. So now even when you give states the power to do certain things, they may also act like the federal. So now, are Nigerian leaders ready to be open-minded to accept democratic system of leadership?
True federalism.
True federalism. Now, what about the states? The states are even the ones hampering the development.
So a lot of experts.
And that was what actually showed. So these are some of the issues. So when I was running then, I was like, if I become a councillor, I will be able to talk about these issues for a need to amend certain independent. So even from FCT where I am, FCT is a very unique and beautiful place. Why? Because it's like you're in Nigeria. Everybody from various parts come to live in FCT. So when they see a role model and example, somebody talking about something, it immediately registers in their brain, and they would like to emulate that in their houses. So Nigeria will only grow if we kind of start having this mindset towards state autonomy, financial autonomy, because their finance is what, over time, if they can use finance if they can weaponize finance, poverty over the people, talk more of the state governments who will now want to clamp the funds and then also tweak the chairman of this local government to the direction they want. So that was the reason for the rejection.
For the rejection of that particular one.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Citizen FM 93.7. In the studio, I have with me Barrister Juliet Ikayere. She's a legal practitioner with a keen interest in policy and governance. She recently contested for a seat in the Federal House of Representatives to represent Buari and Ama constituency at the just concluded February 2023 presidential and National Assembly elections. If you'd like to call us to make your contributions or be a part of the program, you can reach us on 0903 22 29 797. 0903 22 29 797. You can also send us a WhatsApp message or call us on 0818 22 22 205. You can call us and send us a WhatsApp message on 0818 22 22 205. We're just going to take a quick break, and when we come back, the review of the newly amended constitution continues. And we're back. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Midday with Mena on Citizen FM 93.7. And we're doing a review of the newly accented Constitution with Barrister Juliet Ikayere, who is a legal practitioner with a keen interest in policy and governance. So the next bill we are going to be reviewing is the bill that seeks to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to provide the financial independence of state houses of assembly and state judiciary for related matters. So how does this help us moving forward? How does it contribute to, Nigeria's true federalism?
Yeah, just like you said, the 3 tiers of government, that's the federal, state, and the local government. And now, and I'm not 3 arms when I mean 3 tiers, like in terms of executive and
legislative and judiciary.
Yes, but the arms are legislative, executive, legislative, and judiciary. But the other tiers are those government, the executive tiers. There's the federal executive, the state executive, and the local government. The local government also has its own executive balance. Yes. So now this independence of the state assemblies will also strengthen the state assemblies to be able to
financial independence of the state
to be able to function independent of the government, of the state government, to be able to perform their now they don't need to start crying at the government.
To
normally
give them their own share.
Exactly. Now the legislative house of the state is the state assembly.
Okay, yes.
And they have the power to impeach. They have the power to also send a lot of petitions against the government, the state government. Yes.
So before now,
it's this okay. And all we meet at the courts, and then you now hear the court is on strike. So indirectly, it affects us, and then we had to go through the process of peaceful protests with a lot of our MBA branches across the federation demanding for this autonomy. So for me, it's a good news for the judiciary, and we hope that the judiciary henceforth utilizes this opportunity, that it now becomes an independent body as it ought to be.
Like finally they are cutting the umbilical cord for you.
Absolutely.
So will you stand on your own?
That is the question going
forward. Do the right thing for the people.
But we know it's supposed to be an independent an independent road going forward for them.
Yes, it's supposed to be, and now by passing this bill, it has only strengthened it some more.
Exactly.
And right now the Nigeria judiciary is actually on the hot spot with some election litigation going on right now.
Exactly. So, but the thing is that now these are for the states.
Yeah.
So now judiciary, also going state levels will also enjoy this freedom.
At federal level, are they?
Yes. It's judiciary. It's all encompassing.
Okay.
But I was saying that there are some elections that may not pass through the state tribunal. It's immediately go to the court of appeal, like the presidential and all that.
Yeah.
So, but the truth is that I was even more particular about the states, because it's going to actually enable the judiciary freedom to express their judgments, their thoughts in matters involving the states.
Yeah.
So for the federal, that's the Court of Appeal, the Supreme Court. It's also a good one for me, but I'm also peculiarly excited for the state judiciary.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, that sounds great, actually. Moving on, we're moving on to the bill that seeks to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to regulate the first session and inauguration of members-elect of the National and State Houses of Assembly for related matters.
Yes, it's a good one. So, the first dispensation of President Muhammadu Buhari's government, we found out that it took a lot of months to actually bring in ministers, but this time around it has been shortened to 60 days.
But okay,
it's a welcome development.
All right, but before President Muhammadu Buhari, was it a problem?
As society evolves.
I understand.
Yes.
Before President Muhammadu Buhari, did we have past presidents coming in and delaying creation?
It was not as obvious as the 2015, 2019. It was not that obvious. In fact, you see, I think the section also needs to also caption the process for even renominating a minister or a commissioner even after the exit of one, so there's no delay. Immediately such portfolio is filled quickly, so we don't have all this long span of time before the agency is actually.
So my question is, an elected official came in and did something different than what was done in the past.
Yes.
And now at the end of his tenure, we are making laws to curb this thing that happened from one person.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm really. See, I feel like it's one of those.
It brings us back. It brings us back to the issue whereby Nigerians' bicameral system of legislative. A lot of people have been clamoring for the cut down and make it just one unicameral, so that we do not have to go through. We don't have to go through the by process. That's two process of passing bills from the House of Reps. You now pass again in the national the Senate, and then you also pass in the state assembly. So you see this rigorous process. They help to delay the effect of what the legislators intend to curb, and before you just that's just what's happening. So now the intendment will not even come quickly; it comes at the end. Look at all the processes for all the bureaucratic system, whereby you see a lot of slow management from taking the bills, passing, lobbying, all the stages and process to making a bill go through the first reading, the second reading. Before then, it's passed, and then you now repeat the same thing at the Senate level. It's something. It's so long.
I would like to point one thing out from what you've said, because personally, I feel like this is what is wrong with the civil service entirely.
Exactly.
I mean, you want to get things done in government offices, and most people cry.
and
most people just
the only recourse now for the common man will be the judiciary, because normally bureaucracy is something that can easily be the order of the day. But where there are certain systems, and that's the judiciary comes in to actually tame them, they are awakened. That's the need for checks and balances.
Exactly.
The legislators now they actually now checkmated the acts of the president, and that was why the bill actually went through. There was even the necessity.
So that was their own way. That was their own way of checking.
That is the checkmating. And also for other state governors who want to swear in ministers, but they take long, and then they will start saying, did this person not do it? Did this other person not do it?
This was a problem that gradually built up from, let's say, from the 2015 tenure.
Exactly.
Gradually trickled down. That attitude trickled down.
Because a lot of people say when Nigerians can be so, did this person not do it? I'll follow they always want my example. So everybody just wants to follow one direction. So now to make sure that there's this balance and there's this clamping of such acts going forward, a need for this bill how to arise. So within 60 days, if you do not do it, there's now a need for the National Assembly to rise up again and say there is a problem. Because as at that time they'll be like, there is no constitutionally laid down time period to actually tell us what to do. But right now it is now a necessity, else you are abusing the process.
It's just like the election tribunal process, because a lot of people, even myself, when it just started, I was like, this may take a lot of time, this may take a while, you know. And then but a lawyer gave me the expert opinion and said, see, election tribunal has been given a cap number
180 days. So it's sui generis. It's unique in its form. It's sui generis. It's something that is peculiar. And that is why most times you see a lot of people just go and put all their energies on the election petition. You know why? Because there is already a constitutional backing that states that so and so period are necessary for the completion starts to completion of this kind of issues. If that is the case, not that we don't have so in other matters, but there's no peculiarity given to civil matters, and that's why you see that cases and that's why you see that cases can stay as long as 5 years, 10 years, and the people just wear off and then give up on the judiciary.
Do you have any suggestions of some of these parts that could be reviewed in terms of the fact that the judiciary may take time?
Now, these issues I've said, now drawing me back to the issue when you said if I was going there to now actually review, these are some of the things that we can actually come to terms with saying there should be strict expedition of matters in relation to these fields if it's contract, but there's already time limitation.
What field are you interested in particularly that you think is quite time
for me? It's policies. Any policy, one thing about policy, it's actually that it may not be termed a name, but it affects the people.
Okay.
And now the willingness of the leader or the representative to act on the spot, to think on the feet, to be able to, because you're going there for the interest of people. There's no one particular issue that when Nigerians call upon you say it doesn't concern me. As long as it's peculiar and it's necessary for the quality of life to be enhanced.
Just can you give me two peculiar issues
now,
here in Abuja?
Okay, now for the Abuja as a place now, we have this issue of making sure that there's an empowerment, a socio-economic empowerment improver for the people, whereby if possible there can be an area that can just actually be made particularly subjected to just agricultural purposes, and it will be respected and put into the law, so you don't have people going to take over lands that are meant to be for production and actually to enhance the lives of people here. So it could just be like a green area was necessary for agricultural purposes, and then it can now be expanded to become an industrialized center whereby things can now be manufactured. But these are just areas. And then you are also looking at the issue of the motor park policies and all. So now regulating it that some certain form of tout-like behavior should not be carried out, and then it will not be included into some of the FCTA acts. And then,
Juliet, nobody wants to solve this taxi people problem on the street.
Exactly, because if you now want to, they are already empowered by either some of the state machineries, and that's what we're talking about before I got into your studio. A lot of ills as been promoted in Nigeria is because they are backed up by state
they drive
machineries.
However they want to do. I strongly believe that if the taxi people behaved better on the road, people would be happier going to their destinations.
Exactly.
But you already start on the road, and before you're even halfway to your destination, you are already just so upset because somebody cannot just act like an adult or act right.
Exactly.
You know, on the road.
So now there needs to now the reform of people's character, and the reform of people's character will only be done through laws. And through law. So now this matters now. They can actually we can actually now push for the fact that issues relating to the FCT, crimes committed within the FCT, can actually be expedited within the period of so and so time. And if it's pushed, it can actually flow in. So it cannot be a unique because it's now it has aroused public interest.
Yes. For the benefit of the people,
and they're already complaining. So people may like, why are you so particular about the touting, the way they are moving? But you'll be like, this is the complaint through referendum. A lot of people have written, and then it can now move as a bill, so that the need for capture these matters in the law court are within this time. So we don't have people going scot-free with their actions.
I have another big question for you. So how do we get in touch with our House of Representative members? How do we get in touch with them, tell them our problem? Because isn't that how we're supposed to work?
Exactly. And for me, my own thoughts as a day was that there will always be a medium in the 22 local governments for us to be able to reach out to people. It could be like a suggestion box, but something that has to the people.
How do we reach out to our
the only for now I feel is through the Twitter.
Okay.
So now a lot of people just use social media, but it shouldn't be the case. And there are also offices, but you know how abuse now becomes inevitable, but there are also modules that can be created to reach out to the 22 wards and even interfacing with them, and it's possible to interface.
What are our duties with the House of Rep members? Because I believe we're supposed to work closely with them for them to present our needs. To the House. So what is our duty? How do we perform the duty with our representatives? If we want to be part of this governance.
That's the thing. The Constitution, in line with Section 88, actually states the functions of the National Assembly members, and that is one, to review, amend, and make laws. And also now investigate corruption, expose corruption in the various agencies of the government. Now, the peculiarity now of the one-to-one function hasn't been stipulated there on what they need to do for you. So most time that's why you see them buying motorcycle, wheelbarrow,
It's kind of like they don't have anything to do with us, according to the constitution.
They are not. So you see now, their role was made. That's why when you asked me, I was like, their role was more of like a Nigeria role, a federal role. But they were not. The opportunity they got to sit there was because they were elected from the constituency that were mapped out in order to make Nigeria a governable entity,
inclusive.
So you see. But now it's not for Nigerians now to say, okay, we have to come to it, and that's why I wanted to make it more of like a people government relationship that we now interface. That the people now we now have the mindset to now change more of these laws and bring about functions that will be encaptured for the legislators. But the thing is that even these laws that actually in the constitution, we have the concurrent, we have the exclusive list now. The exclusive list is just for the National Assembly. So you see, their powers are usually for
What do you
Nigeria.
mean the exclusive list is just for the National Assembly?
They can only legislate on the matters that are within the exclusive list.
Okay, then the concurrent list?
They can legislate on matters alongside the state assembly members.
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
Yes. So now you see, their own matter is just lawmaking. It's lawmaking. It has no business with building of road or building of schools. It's the executive duty, and that was what I was trying to make Nigeria understand. We have abused the functions of each arm of government, and that's why the legislators now worship the executives.
So the legislators are literally supposed to be burying their heads in books in the constitution.
Thank you. So we have to get the best of brains in that place, and then investigation of the executives, because right now
they have their work cut out for them.
Thank you. They have their work, because now what they will do for you is now investigating issues that has to do with you, but those are investigative duties. Calling it to the National Assembly, and therefore there is now a summon. Interrogation now begins, and those head of agencies are now called to actually do the right thing. They are a checkmating system.
Hello, good morning. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Patrick.
Okay, Patrick, good morning. All right. Do you have any contribution or questions for us?
I have a question, but first I have a question to the guest.
Okay.
And she was stating the roles that the National Assembly play.
Yeah.
So far, so good. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
So far, so good. What we see in Nigeria is that National Assembly working for the executive. So now my question to her is this: how do you think Nigerians who elected these National Assembly members who are supposed to work for them, how do you think Nigeria can drag them to make sure that they work for them? That is number one. And there is something we talk about when you talk about this independence that was given to the bill that was accepted by the president.
Yeah.
That the state assembly and the judiciary had an election independent, right?
Yes.
For me, I don't think that it will work in this in this assembly. I'm not optimistic that it will work. I think Nigerian politicians are so cleverly criminal-minded. So they only look for loopholes to have to shortchange the independence of the state assembly and even the state judiciary. For me, I don't think it will work.
I get that, Patrick. Yeah. But what we believe, even if it's not now, we are just happy that policy is in place. So when we start getting the brains to do it, they would have a structure, a solid structure to follow.
What the funny part is this: it is we, the same Nigerians, me now I'm talking now. If I go there now as a state assembly member tomorrow, one of my states, if the state governor is trying to have his way, if I try to challenge him now, my other colleagues, we not side with me. So they will leave me as if I don't know what I'm saying. But look at it, the bill has been extended to it is a law now. But when it comes for us to implement it, it is always an issue. So that's why I say
Thank you very much, Patrick. Barrister Juliet, to answer you quickly now. Barrister Juliet, so the people are asking, how do we get these people to listen to us and interact with us, our representatives?
It still now boils down to having unity amongst ourselves in our various constituencies. There's already a constitutional provision that asks for recall, but the process of recalling is expensive.
Is it?
It's very expensive.
I've heard of it.
Yes.
You can use your PVC to vote and also recall members of the National House
So
of
now,
Assembly.
writing a petition now to the INEC, already we know a lot of people are already feeling there's a lot of distrust going by what happened all over in the past weeks in Nigeria. So the attention for them to even listen to you to file this petition. But I know that if we start being knowledgeable about these things, and then we have a uniform forum whereby there will not be winch hunting, because another thing people are scared of is the winch hunting from the federal and the state. So these are the issues. As I said, it's costly, it's expensive, but we need to actually get there, and that's why a lot of people are clamoring for a country that the presidential, the executive, the legislative will be leaders that respect the people's opinion. And so out of their shame, we want to do the right thing, so that they don't need to use, because what has been happening is that everybody now turns blind eye to the shame and use the power they have to actually enforce it on the people. A lot of countries that are actually doing great is because of there's this consciousness, there's a conscience, and then the people too, so they work hand in hand with the government.
A lot of people love to say politicians are not, or normally human beings have their bad side, which is fine. Whatever you want to do behind closed doors is what you want to do,
exactly.
But when you come out to the public and you're serving people, you should be come 100% correct.
Yes, and then the ideology of the people, because another thing is that some of these politicians, even when they want to now go and not join the bad eggs, the people will even say you are even foolish to even want to step away. You're not doing that. You should you should be strong. If you even want to do something right, so be like you were not smart enough. They call you pulling out of bad as weakness.
Yes.
So
you can't play the game.
Thank you. So you see why that uniform forum has to come in for people to have this decent ideologies that a lot of people will clamor and say, no, this is wrong, you need to come down, you need to step down, whereby we can have a channel. But the question is still what I will ask Nigerians: how do we get that channel? Because there are committees already for investigation, there are various committees already set up for investigation by the National Assemblies, but we are the same people that will now send these National Assembly members to go and build the roads, instead of asking the committee members the budget that was actually allocated for those people. Have you people been able to investigate it and see what the executive have done with this money? Because the execution is not for the legislators. So when I see a lot of people saying yes, they champion, they are in their community to actually build roads, yes, it's actually good. But other than that, how many have you your primary duty for investigation and calling for the investigation to read, to research?
All I'm seeing from what you've said right now is that the people of Nigeria, citizens of Nigeria, have a lot to say about their government.
Yes.
And I see us using our mouths to say it every day, sing it loud, loud, loud. So now I'm just knowing that the people that are supposed to be our voice, and listen to us and give us feedback that what you're saying is right, what you're saying is wrong, are our House of Representative members.
Exactly. So now these people, you can even call them out from their committees. You people in charge of youth sports development, the people in charge of women development in those committees, how much investigations have you people done? How much policies have you people driven that we can now, as a people, we should not inquire from this. We should not ask them of monies or that. I think we're not having the right conversations. We can now start asking them based on the committees they are in, and then find out the issue. They can actually policies they will drive in that committee, and then push it to the house, and then for the debate now starts in the house, the yes, the no's. Then you start knowing what the Nigerian people are actually going there to vote against or vote for. These are the conversations. And how many have you followed up with the budget? In the beginning of the year, there was a budget appropriation bill that was sent into the house. Have we actually asked these people what has been going on? How has the implementation been? How far have they gone? It needs care and concern and intentionality, and we need to get there through education of the people. Where we are complaining of mass illiteracy and we are complaining of asking for accountability, you may be told figures, but you may not know if they are true or their force.
Thank you so much, Barrister Juliet, for your wonderful contribution to this program today. Our time has been fast spent and we've come to an end of the program. But I'm expecting you again next week. Let's finish up these assented constitution bills so that we can know more of what they are about. Honestly, starting off, I didn't understand a lot of this, but now I'm so much more enlightened and educated about what's going on.
My pleasure.
I would love to, for us to have this conversation more and let people know what they need to know, what they need to do, where they are getting it wrong, and where we could get it right.
Absolutely.
It was great having you on the show. A special shout out to my listeners and to my callers. For those of you that couldn't get through, my apologies to you. Thank you, Patrick, for calling in and for your contribution. Do have a lovely, lovely day. The news at noon comes up next.
Hello, Abuja. You are listening to 93.7 Citizen FM, the latest radio station based in Nigeria's capital.